Johnny Serena says he was walking down the street when police officers pulled him over. Snowy days like this, most people are staying home to stay warm, but for working men like Tom, it's just a regular day on the job. They were actually searching here on the north side of the lake today. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Folks in Odessa are planning to build a memorial in honor of American sniper Chris Kyle. In similar instances like this, people think a pawn shop is the first place to go, but the owners of Galaxy Pawn say that's not the case. To start a little snow fight because they don't know how long it will last. Just outside the city limits stands warehouses and storage units that still have to go by the Texas property code. He says the major concern with both drones and lasers is pilots cannot see them until they hit them straight on. And she's not the only person who's dealt with problems here at this residence. Neighbors say people have been in and out with similar problems in an unlivable situation. 50 water bottles filled 8 times a day and 80 gallons of water, all of which to keep the players hydrated on a regular basis. For example, this bridge here, it helps with their sensory and motor inputs by hearing the physical sounds of the horse as it walks across the bridge. Right, the Issa Saga family has been waiting on this identification for the past 5 days. Now they did release a statement saying that they are thankful for everyone who has been with them through this exhausting journey since Mark was first reported missing 3 years ago.
He was my baby, 15 years old, hadn't lived his life yet. How can you be so cruel to do that, to take somebody's child away?
Mark Issa Saga was reported missing on June 14, 2012. He was last seen in the area of 27th Street.
I just want to hold him again and smell him and hear his voice. I'm ready for this to be over with.
3 years later, on May 15th, Lubbock Police Department got a break in the case when they found DNA evidence in Jose Cimental's former house.
The blood evidence was in an amount and location that, when combined with statements and other corroborating evidence, led us to believe we had indeed located the scene of a homicide.
Lubbock investigators searched the home in 2012, but now had substantial evidence to charge 20-year-old Cimental for the murder of Mark Issa Saga.
It wasn't much of a shock when they told me they were charging him.
DNA evidence, one suspect behind bars, but still no body.
I had the gall to say, I know he wouldn't run away, knowing what he did to him.
Lubbock Police Department followed anonymous tips and searched for the body's location. And on June 6th, an anonymous tip led police to a location off Highway 87 and County Road 2300. It was on private property that police found the human remains.
It's never easy doing something like this, especially when you consider the gravity that once upon a time that was a human life that now you're digging for.
The remains were taken to the medical examiner's office where the body was positively identified as Mark Issa Saga. Wednesday, the chief medical examiner reported the cause of death as homicidal violence with a gunshot.
Well, with regard to bones, I would say greater than 90% of the remains.
Lubbock Police Department still considers 19-year-old Christian Castro as a person of interest in the case, and they say there could be more people involved.
It's just not Jose that knows. There's a lot of people that know what happened, knowing Jose's been charged with murder, and they're next.
Now, the medical examiner's office says they are going to keep the body throughout the investigation, but the Issa Saga family has already set up a GoFundMe account to make sure Mark Issa Saga gets the burial he deserves. Again, this investigation is still ongoing. David? Every weekday, volunteers like Larry Duke hop in their car and deliver a hot meal to the homebound.
For me, it's just a way to give back. It's a way to help people that really can't help themselves.
Using their own cars to deliver nearly 700 meals a day. That's why low gas prices for volunteers makes the routes a little more manageable.
To me, gas is just a commodity. I'm going to pay for it, whatever I have to pay for it. It's certainly much nicer to not have, the huge bills.
Well, it's kind of hefty sometimes, but now that they're getting a little lower, it makes it much easier on us, but I'll still do it anyway. It's a good cause.
Executive Director Lisa Gilliland says they are looking forward to expanding, but know their organization's success rests in the giving hands of their volunteers.
For many of our recipients, the volunteer is the only person they may see. And yes, that hot, nutritious meal is important, but that daily human contact, that personal visit is so very important to these people's health and well-being, and it's so rewarding for our volunteers as well. That's why you will see them show up day in and day out, regardless of the weather and regardless of the gas prices. They will be here to get that mission accomplished.
Roxie Bustamante, KLBK News. David, homicide detectives have been canvassing the area after a 63-year-old man was shot in the living room. Now I spoke to his family today and they say they need answers.
He didn't deserve to die this way.
Lubbock police say Thursday night, 63-year-old Rogelio Correstiza was sitting in the living room of this house when a shot was fired from outside the home and struck Correstiza in the head. Police say he was rushed to University Medical Center.
We were up there at the hospital. My brother was already dead. He was already dead. The machine was breathing for him.
Yolanda Rondon says her brother died at the hospital, and when the family went to the house Friday afternoon, she says it only left more unanswered questions.
Somebody is not telling the truth, because last night was one story and this morning it's another one. So somebody is not saying what happened. And what happened is they took my innocent brother without having any blame of what's going on in this house.
There was no drive-by because there's no windows shot at. There's no bullets through the walls. My dad got shot close range.
Christina Grando says her dad stays in a house down the street, but it wouldn't be unusual to find her dad at this house, the house where he was killed.
My dad, Rogelio, he would come over here, clean her yard, in exchange for drugs. That's why I never could come over here.
She says all they want is to find out what really happened Thursday night.
I want justice somehow, some way, and I will find out who did this to my father.
Lubbock police says this is an ongoing investigation and they urge anyone with information to call Crime Line at 741-1000. Reporting from North Lubbock, I'm Roxie Bustamante, KLBK News.